ABC Sports Group.
Game 2 between the Phillies and the Arizona Diamondbacks features Roy Halladay on the mound for the Phils. That's the good news. The bad news, well, Phillies fans coming to the ballpark today thought they'd see Carlos Ruiz behind the plate, but Carlos Ruiz has been placed on the 15-day disabled list with plantar fasciitis in his left foot. It's been a problem that he's been plagued with for the last month or so. He's expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks. He'll be reevaluated sometime in the next couple weeks. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy. Aloha, Chris Wheeler. Boy, I'll tell you, this season has been a tough one for a lot of folks to swallow. But now the guy who's been the most consistent offensive and really defensive player, Carlos Ruiz, is lost for at least 4 to 6 weeks.
Head and shoulders the most valuable player on this team. From day one, Tom, he had a great spring training. He carried it right into the season. But this injury has really been bothering him lately. It's very, very painful, and he just can't go any longer, so they have to shut him down. Look where he is in the rankings overall, not only on this team, but what he's managed to do in the National League. And now he's gone. And, you know, who knows when he'll be able to come back and, what he'll be able to do the rest of the year. We're going to really miss Carlos Ruiz. The fans, the players, everybody will miss him. Look at the beating that a catcher takes through the course of a season. The foul ball off the mask. Bat hits him on the elbow. Then another foul ball. Watch the force some of these foul balls as they'll knock the mask, the helmet off, everything. And this is what's happened with Carlos. Just this year, you see some of these things that have happened to him. Here's another one. This is amazing. Just takes the mask, the batting helmet, everything goes right off. And then he was hit by a pitch quite a few times this year. We used to say that all the time, the beating that they take, and then they get hit by pitches. Then he gets run over by another catcher. Who can forget this collision with Yadier Molina? And Chooch, after that was over, looked right at Molina and said, good play, because he understood that he hit him cleanly. But they take an unbelievable beating back there. Carlos Ruiz is not a big guy, so they finally have to shut him down. Of all things, all the things we showed you right there that happened to him, it's his foot.
Yeah, it's his foot, and it's just been something that's been bothering him for quite some time. He's been trying to play through it. They give him some off days from time to time. It just got to the point that the MRI revealed a partial tear, so they've decided to shut him down. So, Game 2 coming up between the Phils and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Yes, it is Roy Halladay on the mound. He'll be opposed by former Phil draft pick Joe Saunders, making his 18th start of the season for the Arizona Diamondbacks. How about the home runs that were hit last night by the Diamondbacks? That's the one by Upton. That's pretty far, right? How about this one by Kubel? What a year he's had. Those two guys are back in the lineup for the Diamondbacks, which we'll get to when we return. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Toyota. Every new Toyota purchase comes with Toyota Care. By Citizens Bank, we're for homes. Talk to us today about how we can help guide you to the loan that's right for you. By Xfinity, the official HD triple play provider of your Phillies. By Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Phils. And by Independence Blue Cross. We're creating a more coordinated healthcare system that is built around you. Independence Blue Cross, changing the game. Roy Halladay is already out on the mound, warming up, getting set for his start tonight. Let's take a look at the Diamondbacks starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Leading it off at center field, Gerardo Parra. Stephen Drew, the shortstop, bats second. Jason Kubel hits third. Paul Goldschmidt, the first baseman, is the cleanup hitter. Justin Upton bats fifth. Miguel Montero hits sixth. Then Chris Johnson seventh. John McDonald makes the start at second base. He'll bat eighth. And batting ninth and pitching is left-hander Joe Saunders. And there's Doc, trying to get back on track, making his 15th start of the year. He's 4-6 with an earned run average of 4.33.
Touched up for a couple home runs in the game Sunday in Atlanta, and then he really pitched pretty well in that. He seemed to find a groove. He's more consistent with his pitches, and that's what he's trying to find right now. Working his way back is the best way to put it. Career against Arizona, 3-1 with an earned run average of 2.73.
And he's working with a new catcher tonight, obviously, Eric Kratz, who's behind the plate. Talked to Kratz at length today about dealing with Roy Halladay. He said he has caught so many bullpens with Doc that he feels very comfortable being out there. He knows it's not a game situation, but he said it's the best possible scenario is to catch as many bullpens as possible. With Carlos Ruiz being placed on the disabled list, Kratz and Brian Schneider are going to share the duties behind the plate, at least for the foreseeable future. Gerardo Parra is going to lead it off. Parra did not play in last night's ball game. He's been very good for the Diamondbacks again. In fact, last year he's one of the better defensive outfielders in the National League, and the first pitch of the night is taken outside. So we're underway, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes.
Yeah, he's got a lot of ability, does Gerardo Parra. He's a very good thrower. He can hit some home runs too.
Another one outside, same spot, and it's 2-0. There's Justin Upton, who last night, well, he had a really long home run. Not as long as Jason Kubel's.
No,
it was long.
They were long ones, both of them.
2-0 the count. Another foul, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, the thing about what you're just bringing up about Kratz, of course, is that for them to get on the same page. Roy Halladay is a guy who likes to work fast. He doesn't want to be shaking his catcher off. And he had a great relationship and has a great relationship with Carlos Ruiz. They just don't want to spend a whole lot of time worrying about the pitch. They want to be thinking the same.
As for a curveball, it looked like the pitch is low and in, and it's 3 balls and 1 strike.
Throwing a disproportionate amount of cutters now. That seems to be his main pitch. When you see the breakdown on Roy Halladay, there's Stephen Drew on deck.
Particularly his last start, 47% cutters. Swing and a miss. That was a fastball. 93 is a good velocity for Doc. Actually, it's a very good velocity.
Yeah, that's higher than it's been in a while. And he says he's not really that worried about it because velocity isn't his thing. It's sinking and movement on his pitches.
He's got it full 3-2. Parra is ready from the left side. Fly ball down the left field line, slicing away from Brown and out of play.
Nobody in this area has to be told how hot it is. And it's very humid. It's a tough night for pitchers, so you want to keep your pitch count down if you can. And time now for our Nissan Keys to tonight's game. Well, no Chooch. This team has lost their MVP, no doubt about it. There's tough times going on with the Phillies right now, and all you do is try to keep your head up and be competitive. Be a professional.
Fly ball left field. Dominic Brown coming in, and he's under it and makes the catch. 1 away.
He cut that in on him pretty well, it looked like. Parra did not get a real good swing at it.
With 1 out, Stephen Drew is the hitter. The other part of the conversation with Eric Kratz about catching Roy Halladay, he said confidence is a big thing. He said early on, I'm just hoping, that Doc has his confidence, and I'm going to try to, help him get to that point.
And work his way through and find out what's working for your pitcher, too. That's one of the keys to catching. Guy doesn't have, very rarely do they go out there and have everything working for them on a given night, so they try to find it.
One of the great quotes that Kratz had today, he said, Doc is like a good hitter. He's never out of an at-bat. Doesn't matter if he's struggling or not. He's always in the at-bats.
Well, when he first got here and throughout his career here, he's had 4 out pitches. And that's why he's never out of an at-bat, because he can come back and get guys even when he falls behind.
2-0 the count to Drew. Ground ball toward first. A fair ball hits the bag, but it didn't go that far. 2 outs.
Oh, there's a nice break. Drew wasn't even running, but still, you know, if it had bounced crazy in a crazy direction, he's going to get himself a base hit out of it. See Drew just standing there, and then whoop, right off the bag, and it goes straight up in the air a little bit to his right. Ryan makes a fair catch and then steps on the bag.
Well, 2 outs with 10 pitches as Ryan settles back behind the bag. Here's Jason Kubel. Kubel is 3rd in the league in home runs and 3rd in runs batted in. Hit a home run last night. One of the longer ones you'll see here at the ballpark. And he takes a cutter for a strike, and it's 0-1.
Well, his arm extension is really good tonight. Notice that we were talking about that on Sunday in Atlanta. And you could see him really getting his arm up into a good angle. And that is such a key for a pitcher who's had a little bit of shoulder problems. You always look for that when they come back. That's where that home run went, up in that area last night.
Yeah, that is considered long no matter what ballpark you're in.
Remember the one Bonds hit that night off Lieber? That hit the McDonald's sign above that one. that was the all-timer in right field here.
It sure was. Well, Howard's hit a ball over the A and the D in power rate.
Right, and that one that Bonds hit was a little further out into right center. Now, Bonds hit his right up into that area.
That's a shot.
Off John Lieber on a Sunday night.
Did Kubel go? He offered at it. Jim Wolf says no. And it's 2-2. Jim Wolf was not welcomed kindly tonight by the Phillies fans, who no doubt have watched that play of John Mayberry crossing the plate yesterday and Wolf calling him out.
Wolf's watched it too.
Swing and a miss. He got it with a changeup. That's a heck of a first inning for Doc Halladay. Probably his best since coming off the disabled list. On to the bottom of the first in a scoreless game.
Getting the play.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it was a good year for me, and also, you know, like I said, you know, it was right because I would like to be on the part of the lineup, you know, every day. But it's hard, you know. Yesterday I was talking to my mom. She's here in my house, and we had a conversation about that. And you know, that's the life. You know, that's baseball, and then, you know. And I think on the one part, you know, we're happy because I don't think it's, you know, something real big, you know, they can take me out of baseball, you know, there's something, you know, can, and I can come back, you know, so that's a good thing.
All right, Carlos, we wish you a speedy recovery. Thanks for giving us a couple minutes, and hopefully see you back before the end of the season.
All right, guys, thank you very much.
Guys, back upstairs.
All right, Murph, we appreciate that interview as Rollins rolls one towards shortstop. Stephen Drew throws him out. He got the count to 1-2. before he grounded out. Let's take a look at the rest of the Phillies lineup, brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Franzen, Utley, and Howard, followed by Mayberry, the 5-hitter. Dominic Brown hits 6th. Eric Kratz 7th. Nate Scherholtz is the right fielder. He'll bat 8th. And batting 9th at pitching is Roy Halladay. Joe Saunders is on the mound. Saunders 5-7 this year with an ERA of 3.62. And now Kevin Franzen, who was 1 for 3 in yesterday's game. And he hits one hard, but right at Drew again. There are 2 outs quickly here in the first. Well, Carlos Ruiz obviously has been dealing with this injury. I would say, Wheels, probably about a month or so. It might be longer, but that's the way it seems. And as he said during his interview, he tried to play through it, but then the MRI showed a partial tear, which is a little worse than he thought it was going to be.
Well, he tried to play through it. Sometimes you can play through injuries. He's a catcher. And to try and play through as painful as that injury must be, with the exertion involved in catching up and down and all the things you have to do, that had to be tough. So, yeah, they just decided to shut it down. Tremendous loss.
And 4 to 6 weeks would put him toward the end of toward the 3rd week or so of September. Whether he comes back or not, well, it all depends. He'll be reevaluated after 2 weeks. But whether he comes back or not, is going to depend on how quickly he could heal and where the Phillies are as far as the season goes.
Yeah, and sometimes, and it really does depend. But I know philosophies sometimes are, let's bring the guy back and let him get some at bats at the end of the year and feel good about things going into next year. As that I'm healthy, I'm ready to go, or as you say, just shut him down for the rest of the year. So they'll have that decision later on.
1-1 is hit on the ground to the right side. John McDonald takes care of Utley. So 3 straight groundouts by Joe Saunders. Phillies go down in order. An 8-pitch inning for Joe Saunders. We go to the second. Follow the Phillies with the MLB.com at-bat 12 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry, or Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at-bat to 31826 or visit Phillies.com for details.
We never really got a chance to talk about Saunders that much because we're obviously catching up on Carlos Ruiz, and they went out so quickly. But he's a sinker ball pitcher, and I think he proved that the first inning.
Yes, a soft sinker ball pitcher.
Yeah, and he also has a tremendous percentage of strikeouts with curveballs.
Paul Goldschmidt is the batter, and he lines pitch number 2 of this at bat toward Dominic Brown for Out number one.
Pretty good play by Brown. Now, you know, it's a routine play for a major league outfielder, but those are the kind that would eat him up that we've seen him before. That thing's hit off the end of the bat. It's duck hooking the whole time, and it can be a very difficult ball to read if you struggle. And he got see what a good read he got on it immediately, then goes to his right, and it's an easy play. Like I said, that's a routine play for a major league player, but in Brown's case, you know, you watch everything he does because he struggled so much.
Well, with one out, it'll bring Justin Upton to the plate. Upton 2 for 4 last night and 1 for 1 tonight. Hit that one right off the knuckles in the center field. First hit of the night for either team. Justin Upton's home run last night is 100th of his career as our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast.
See, Kyle Kenny threw him a changeup. That thing started spinning or floating down and in. Oof, down and in goes a long way.
Cold Hard Blast brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Folks wondered about the brother combinations that have hit 100 home runs. That ball's hit toward first. It's a foul ball. Home plate umpire Ron Culpo. That's his call, and he didn't make a call. So Darrell Cousins, the first base umpire, put his hands up. It looked like it was foul, didn't it?
I thought it was.
So 0-1 the count. See right there. Yeah, see there, it looks like it's in foul territory.
Yeah, you can't tell. But the guy who had the closest look to it, you got to figure he got it right. We're at a heck of a chance.
0-1 the count to Montero. Up and in, 1-1. Well, Wheels, the brothers in baseball history that have hit 100 home runs apiece or more. The Alomars, Roberto and Sandy.
Yep.
The Boones, Aaron and Brett. The Boyers, Cleet and Ken. The DiMaggios, Joe and Vince. And the, is it Musels, Irish and Bob?
I was going over that with Jerry Krasnick last night, fine national baseball writer, and I came up with Cleet and Kenny. And he came up with that Musel, I believe it's pronounced.
I think it's Musel, yeah. But it's not like Stan Musial.
No, it's in the 20s, so really not that familiar with those guys. The other guys, yeah, we know all of them.
Well, Justin and BJ are the first brothers to hit their 100th home run on the same day.
Same day.
They've hit home runs on the same day 13 times. Fly ball, shallow center field. Mayberry's coming on. He's there. Now the Upton brothers have hit home runs 13 times in the same day, including number 99.
Is that right?
Yes, 99 and 100, both on the same day. So Bossman Sr. and his wife were probably pretty ecstatic to watch their boys play last night.
Yeah, and it didn't take BJ long to hit his after Justin hit it. When we learned about a half an hour, 45 minutes later, it seemed like.
There's Chris Johnson with 2 outs, and he fouls it away. I went down to try to find Justin today to see if he knew at any point during the game that BJ had hit the home run. And I couldn't find him, but I'm going to try to ask him that tomorrow. And if he said to him, "Nah, I hit mine first." Upton started to go and then stopped. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, they're both tremendously talented players.
Different, too.
Yeah. I mean, one center fielder, one a corner outfielder.
Inside, 2-1 to Johnson, who was 1 for 3 with an RBI last night. Halladay finished strong against the Braves. He wound up going 6 innings, allowed 3 runs on 6 hits. But he retired 12 of the final 13 batters that he faced.
Well, one thing you and I were talking about in that game, and you could see it early on, his pitches were good, but he had no consistency. He'd throw a good one, throw a bad one, he'd get hurt, then he'd throw a couple good ones. And then as the game went along, he got consistent. And tonight he has really good movement on his pitches, and that's Roy Halladay.
2-1 the count. Change up, hit off the foot of Johnson. And it's 2-2.
The one thing you really want to see from, especially his cutter and his sinker, they're the movement pitches. Curveball's a curveball. Changeup is what it does. But his cutter and sinker are the ones that are his money pitches for so long, and they just are very difficult for hitters to handle because of the late movement over the years. He hasn't had that this year, and they think it's because of the shoulder problem and changing his arm angle.
Couple that with a stiff back even at times last year.
Yeah, well, anybody who's ever thrown a baseball and their shoulder hurts, you know, you start to drop down a little bit and change everything. And, you know, at this level, it can really cause you a problem if you start to change things.
Runner goes. 2-2 is whacked on the ground toward third, a foul ball. And it remains 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That ball really had some sink to it. I mean, I don't think that was a cutter. That looked like his two-seam sinking fastball, which he really hasn't had that much. And that's why when you look at his numbers right now, the disproportionate amount of cutters as opposed to fastballs.
Plus the velocity's been really good too. I know he's not totally worried about that, but it's nice to have it.
Well, if he's throwing his sinker correctly, his velocity's going to go up on it a little bit.
To left field, Brown on the run, out toward the track, gets there to make the catch. He's so quick he nearly overran it. He was able to reach back to pull it in, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. As Dominic Brown takes care of the final out and takes us to the bottom of the second. Last of the second, Ryan Howard will lead it off for the Phils. It'll be Howard, Mayberry, and Dominic Brown against left-hander Joe Saunders. Howard was 0 for 4 last night, and he takes strike 1 at the knees. It's 0-1.
He was out here at 3:30 with Charlie Manuel behind the plate watching him. He had Rich Doobie throwing to him. He hit for about a half an hour and then hit with his group later. So, you know, he's trying to find something. They were out here really working on things this afternoon.
Just to get out of that, what Ryan calls that funk that he's in right now. Tap or foul, and it's 1-2.
Well, he has to come out and face a left-hander. Hasn't thrown a home run ball to a left-handed hitter all year. Saunders isn't nasty because he doesn't throw hard, but his ball has a lot of movement down, and then he's got a tremendous curveball with 2 strikes. He may throw 1 here.
Former first-round pick of the LA Angels of Anaheim, and he throws a fastball. There's 1 away. It was a high fastball. See Saunders' numbers so far in the year. 5 and 7, a 3.62 or 3.58 ERA now because of the outs.
See the 212 against left-handed hitters. And no home runs. Now he has more hits than innings pitched, and that's not unusual for a guy who relies on sinkers, because sometimes your ground balls are hits. There's a scouting report on that curveball. He will throw a lot of times to left-handed hitters. Philly, the time he beat the Phillies, he was with the Angels. It was here in this ballpark.
John Mayberry is the hitter. Mayberry hits the first pitch foul over the Phillies dugout. It's 0-1. Mentioned Saunders was selected by the Phillies originally before he went to Virginia Tech. His story is a little different than what Marty Wallover told us. He says that there really wasn't any give and take. There wasn't any offers from the Phils after their initial one. He went on to Virginia Tech and became a first-round pick. And he's rolling ground balls tonight. That's the third to Stephen Drew, the fourth overall. And there are 2 outs.
Well, a lot of right-handed hitters are going to play pepper with a shortstop if you try to pull this guy.
That'll bring Dominic Brown to the plate. Sunday night, here directly from Michael Vick as he gets ready for a new era of Eagles football. Plus the latest analysis from Eagles training camp. Watch Birds of Summer presented by Schuylkill Valley Sports. Sunday night at 6:30 here on Comcast Sportsnet. Dominic Brown 1 for 4 in last night's game. The one was a single off the glove of Goldschmidt, the first baseman. 2 for 11 so far in the 4 games. And true to Charlie's word, he said he's going to play against everybody. And this is his second start against a left-hander. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Barbara Pratt of Philadelphia. Phillies hit a home run in this ballgame, and Barbara will win $100. Upstairs, 3-1. Saunders was traded to the Arizona Diamondbacks. He was involved in the Dan Herron deal. He wasn't all that pleased about it, but it's turned out okay for him. That ball's hit to right field, but right at Justin Upton, and the side is retired. So it's the first ball in the air in tonight's game. We've played 2. We move to the 3rd here at Philadelphia. Log on to Phillies.com, Wheels. Go to the fans section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. Here's your question. Name the only D-backs player to be named to the 2012 All-Star Game. That's right, they only had one representative. As Gomer Pyle used to say, surprise, surprise, surprise. The answer will be revealed in the 7th inning.
I can see him being introduced right now, going down the line.
Did he tip his cap?
Yeah, he was the first one. He was the first guy. Arizona.
Alphabetical. What about Atlanta? How many do they have?
Maybe
So they
maybe
one
next. Well, he was close to the first guy. It was real quick.
John McDonald leads it off. He takes down away. 1 ball and no strikes. McDonald 4 for his last 31. Former teammate of Doc, 2 for 3 lifetime against him. Quick out here in the 3rd. And Joe Saunders will be the hitter. Well, tomorrow Cliff Lee will take the mound for the Phillies to take on Trevor Cahill and the Diamondbacks. Don't forget, it's the Fans Feeding Families food drive that will take place before the ball game. Bring your non-perishable items to the ballpark tomorrow. Order some tickets at Phillies.com. Get a chance to see Cliff Lee pitch against Trevor Cahill.
That guy tomorrow is really a sinker baller, Cahill. Ooh.
Game time 1:35. Still some good seats available. Nice sized crowd on hand tonight. Saunders waits for the first pitch, and it's low. Six career RBIs for Joe Saunders. 1 ball and 1 strike to count.
Stands in the up in the box too. Most pitchers, they get as far back as they can because they don't want any part of this. Look how far up in the box he is.
He may have been a hitter at one point in his career. 2 outs, top of the order. Gerardo Parra's the batter. Well, Wheels, how things have changed since opening day. There are the participants for the Phils on opening day. That's not the batting order. That's just the guys that played in the field. And the only guys that are still out there tonight, Doc, John Mayberry, and Jimmy Rollins.
Wow. Yeah. Well, 2 of those guys you really wanted to get back, Ryan Howard and Chase Utley. It's just, hey, this will go down at the end. We'll see what happens the last couple months, but this will go down at the end as one of those years.
A very peculiar season. Parra takes wide, 1-0.
You heard Carlos Ruiz use that term that used so much in this sport. That's baseball. And it is. You just don't know.
Franzen will give this a look. He might have a play. Yeah, he's going to, and makes the catch. That's a good play. Ball started spinning back toward him and back toward the field, the playing field. And it's a 1-2-3 third inning. Good job by Doc. He's through 3. He hasn't allowed a hit yet. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. Brought to you by Chevrolet. See your local Chevy dealer. Visit ChevyDealer.com. By McDonald's. Now at McDonald's, any size soft drink or sweet tea is $1. And by Toyota. Every new Toyota purchase comes with Toyota Care. All right, Wheels, I shortchanged Joe Saunders. I said that Doc hadn't allowed a hit yet. It's Saunders who hasn't allowed a hit yet. The Phillies do not have a hit. The Diamondbacks do have a hit, and those two have Mohawks.
Yeah, both these pitchers are right around the plate right now, throwing a lot of strikes, and you know the hitters are swinging early and making outs.
Eric Kratz will lead it off here in the third as the Phillies search for their first hit. Kratz 348 with 3 homers and 6 RBIs. Look what he's done his last 5 games.
Well, he will get an extended look now.
The most extended look he's had in his major league career. Charlie talked yesterday, you know, just how hard Kratz has worked on his defense, but also on just staying in really good shape. It's one of the things they wanted him to do, was to get in even better shape this year, and he did. That ball is drilled deep to left field. It is gone! Just over the flower bed. It's 1-0 Phillies. Home run number 4 for Eric Kratz. Well, good for that little kid and good for Eric Kratz. Another home run, and he's given the Phillies the early lead.
A great shot at Carlos Ruiz, too, putting his arms up in the air. There's a fastball. Looked like he tried to sink it away from him. He didn't sink it. It didn't look like it was high enough to be a home run when he hit it. He figured it was going to be a double, but it just goes into that first row, and there's Chooch's reaction.
And Barbara Pratt of Philadelphia is probably doing the same thing, because she won $100 courtesy of the McDonald's home run jackpot. As Sherholtz takes a strike, it's 0-1. How about the Phillies' catching position, where they stand against everybody else offensively?
Yeah.
Obviously, Ruiz has a lion's share of those numbers, but and Kratz's home runs to Carlos's and Brian Schneider's offense too.
Right, Brian Schneider will also be playing too, along with Kratz, as Carlos Ruiz sits it out with that foot injury.
0-2 to Sherholtz off his foot.
One thing about playing in August and you're a catcher, that'll help you stay in shape.
Brian will probably play tomorrow against the right-hander. Sherholtz to the right side. McDonald charges and very quickly flips for the first out. And that'll bring Doc to the plate. By the way, that's the 13th home run allowed by Saunders. All 13 have come against right-handed hitters.
He's really tough to left-handers. 2 guys we've seen this week like that. Detweiler too, for Washington, very, very tough on left-handed hitters. See where Roy Halladay stands in the box? That's where pitchers stand normally. They don't do like what Saunders does. They don't like being up in the box. They're going to get as far away as possible.
Outside, 1-2.
These 2 guys really trust their stuff. They get it and throw it.
Well, some people think it's the way to do it if you're a pitcher. Just don't sit and wait. Don't make your teammates wait behind you.
Yeah.
If you have it, just go.
And you have good stuff, especially. There's no reason not to throw it.
There's a breaking ball that misses. It's 2-2.
There he went for that strikeout with his curveball, even to a pitcher. And that evidently is one of his fortes when you read the data on him.
Tapper back to the box. Well, this Monday, the Atlanta Braves will pay another visit to Philadelphia. It's a 3-game series. All 3 games are night games. Tuesday, the 7:05 start is the Jewish Heritage Night here at the ballpark. It's sponsored by Jewish Federation of Greater Philadelphia. There are seats available for all 3 games. Those are big ones for the Atlanta Braves, obviously, and the Phils looking to play some little spoil baseball. We'll see Tim Hudson in that series as Rollins takes a breaking ball for strike one.
They don't seem to miss Hudson often.
I was thinking that today when I was going over who the possible starters would be. And there he was.
Oh, yeah. It just seems it works out that way.
0-2 now to Rollins. Toyota Major League Scoreboard. Down in Washington, Miami's jumped out to a 3-1 lead. Pretty good games yesterday between those two teams. Josh Johnson pitched well last night.
Yeah, split a doubleheader.
See where Bonifacio is going to be out for the year, they think?
Another hand injury.
Yeah, thumb. Adam LaRoche homer today. Jose Reyes has hit in 23 straight. Rollins hits it skyward to center. And Parra is there. And as Jimmy touches first, the inning comes to a close. The home run by Eric Kratz, though, has given the Phils the early lead. This was a bullet, folks. He got it out over the plate, and he put it out over the flower bed. For Kratz's 4th home run of the year, the Phils have a 1-0 lead as we go to the 4th. Like long-lasting Duracell copper-top batteries. From who? But W.B. Mason. Oh, warm night here in Philadelphia. We go to the 4th. Phillies have the early lead on a home run by Eric Kratz. Steven Drew, Jason Kubel, Paul Goldschmidt will lead it off for the Diamondbacks. Gary Matthews joins us up here in the booth. Sarge, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Been working pretty hard today, Tom.
Working your fingers to the bone.
To do. That's right.
Well, you had an appearance earlier. You had a book signing today.
Yeah.
How did that go?
We actually went pretty good. Rittenhouse Square.
Drew takes outside. It's 1-0.
A lot of people were out today.
And then you also you did an interview with Mark Grace. How did that go?
Actually went pretty good there. He couldn't believe, he said, I was showboating that home run on Jerry Royce.
Well, you were showboating.
I told him that's why they call it the show. I mean, come on now. But that was the first time he had actually saw that, and he couldn't believe it. He actually screamed when he saw it.
Mark Grace is now doing television, has been for a number of years for the Arizona Diamondbacks. 1-1 the count to Drew. Fly ball center field. Mayberry coming on, and he'll play it on a hop.
Actually, since 04.
That's a leadoff single. All right, so the book signing went well. Good crowd.
Book signing went well. Had call-ins, believe it or not, to sign them. And you know what?
What do you mean you had call-ins?
Well, people will call and they'll pay for the book with their credit card, and you sign it, they sign their name, and they send them the book.
I did not know that.
Well, Tom, you got to get out a little bit more often, buddy. Really. But, yeah, it's a good day today and ready for victory.
Well, here's Jason Kubel with a runner at first. And Kubel takes a strike. It's 0-1. Kubel struck out his first time up. Yeah, Doc has looked like Doc these first few innings.
The only thing he doesn't have, though, is that velocity. But you know what? Sometimes you know, getting used to that 93 or 94, where coming off of that little injury, it's location that's going to make him even better, or be able to get back to what he was throwing.
Well, I think his velocity has been the best tonight that it's, I mean, even before the DL. He's hit 93 a bunch of times, which is great compared to the other numbers.
And that's what those players will look at. I mean, they look up there and they'll see 93 and say, okay, he's back. Just the opposite when he's throwing 88, 89. They feel that they can take advantage of it.
That ball just missed a curveball. It's 2-1. 1-0 Phillies, top of the fourth. Here's the percentage of pitches that he's used, or the usage. 43% cutter. That includes 47% his last time. And you see the velocity. Fastball 90.6, the average. Yeah. Tonight, he's hit 93, 92 pretty consistently.
Arm getting stronger. Yeah, once he hits that, I think it's just those next couple of starts and see exactly where that velocity would be, because again, he has that reputation and he's able to get hitters out a lot of times on his reputation. Sometimes hitters look for too much when he doesn't have his good stuff.
Swing and a miss. That was a cutter, and it's 3-2.
Who's your pros pro? I mean, he's the type of pitcher tries to set the hitters up. All pitchers don't do that.
Runner goes, pitch is grounded toward first. So one play for Ryan Howard as Drew is at second. Kubal's retired. Goldschmidt is up. He lined out to left his first time up.
You know, Mayberry plays back a little bit deeper. Again, they'll do that because he feels comfortable playing where he does. When Victorino was here, he would play a lot more shallow because he felt going back he could be able to read it and get back and catch the ball. I like the center fielders playing shallow so they can take away potential hits, like the little floaters, something like what Drew hit.
Is part of that because he hasn't played a lot of center field, at least recently?
I just think he feels comfortable where he is in the outfield. Some guys can go back. Gary Maddox used to do that. All the fans know that here, where he plays so shallow and cover left and left center, right center. And again, that's another thing that Mayberry's going to have to do if he's going to play every day. You know, besides the hitting, obviously that's kind of a given, but the fact is you got to play good defense. You got to be able to clutch hit. All that goes with the plan of every day. It takes a special player to play every day.
Halliday's ahead, 1 ball and 2 strikes to Goldschmidt. Kratz is going to creep to the outer half, and the pitch is hit foul toward the camera well on the right side. Got him. Kept going to the well with that curveball, and finally he rung up Goldschmidt for the second out.
It's a good pitch after that fastball away. This is what I'm talking about, setting up a hitter. Off balance swing. He saw that swing earlier, so he comes back to the well once he gets that 2 strikes on him, and he actually swung the same identical way.
And now he has to get Justin Upton, who singled his first time up. He's 1 for 1. Phillies up by 1. Diamondbacks have Stephen Drew at second. And a curve outside.
Mark Grace talked about this guy having a lot of talent. Should be better than what he is or what his numbers show right now. And a lot has to do with the wrapping of that bat. He'll hit some pitchers, but average is showing you that he hasn't been as consistent as you would really like.
Well, now 5th all time in home runs in Arizona history. The short history they have. On the outside corner, see 92. That was a good spot.
Yeah, oh, that's filthy. I mean, that's a pitch there. I mean, if he's hitting, you can throw that pitch there, 88, 89 in that particular spot. Very difficult for a hitter to go out on the outside part of the plate and hit it.
Cutter just a tad outside, 3-1.
Tried to go right back and get that strike, and that's what Doc's good about, though. I mean, he sees that umpire call a particular pitch in an area, he'll go back to that same area and try and get another strike.
Thrown everything.
Yeah, I thought for a minute he was trying to pitch, around him a little bit. That was a good breaking ball. He didn't just go at him with that fastball, but Doc's able to do that. Able to throw those breaking balls when he's behind.
Change up that just missed a little low. Ball 4. Oh, he issues his first walk, and Miguel Montero is now the hitter. Ron Culpa's behind the plate. Darrell Cousins, the crew chief, at first. Alan Porter, he is a native of this area, is at second, and Jim Wolf is around at third. Montero flied out to center. 0 for 1. To left field. Dominic Brown is out there. He wanders under it to put it away. And Doc works out a little trouble here in the 4th. No runs, 1 hit, 2 men left. On to the bottom of the 4th in Philly, with the Phillies on top by 1. By Thomas Jefferson University Hospital. Call 1-800-JEFF-NOW for an appointment. And by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. Bottom of the 4th, Franzen Utley and Ryan Howard are due up for the Phillies. They lead at 1-0 against Joe Saunders. 1 run on the home run by Eric Kratz. And Franzen, who grounded out to short his first time up, will start it off here in the 4th. I have to say, this guy is a really good guy to talk the game with, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And likes to, though.
takes a strike at the knees. Ooh. You would have looked back at the umpire on that one too, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, or ask him something like, "That going to be a strike all night?" See, and again, Saunders did the same thing. He gets the call that he thinks borderline, comes right back out there with that same pitch, and that's just smart pitching.
1 ball, 1 strike to count to Franzen. And a breaking ball.
Wow. It's a tough pitch. Type of pitcher you want to try, and if you can, hit that ball or stay up the middle with them. Throws a lot of off-speed pitches. You have a tendency to get around the ball, meaning you would pull it.
Threw that pitch inside, and Goldschmidt in shallow right puts it away. And with 1 out, Chase Utley's coming up, and it's time for the Major League Notebook with Greg Murphy. Murph, take it away.
All right, thank you very much, T-Mac. Brought to you by Gwinnett Mercy College. The Florida Marlins lost another key player, this time to injury. Second baseman Emilio Bonifacio is on the DL, as you guys talked about with that left thumb injury. It's the second time this year that Bonifacio has ended up on the DL with that thumb. And the A's suffered a setback as well. Rookie pitcher A.J. Griffin had to leave today's game in the second inning for the A's. He's been real good for them in 7 starts, 3-0 with an ERA of 2.50. And of course, the Oakland A's playing some pretty good baseball right now, have that wild card spot in the American League if the season were to end today. But no word on what the injury is with A.J. Griffin right now, guys.
Yeah, with all the youngsters they have, they're 10 over 500. You know, they've won 2 in a row. They wind up playing today against the Blue Jays, and they lost 3-1. But they've done really well. That ball is hit hard to right, but right at Justin Upton. And there are 2 outs. So 2 away. Ryan Howard's coming up. Ryan struck out swinging his first time up. And, you know, Murphy, he's always been a guy that has struck out, but they're trying to get him to make a little more contact as he comes back from that Achilles injury.
Yeah, he is, and he's also a guy that we've seen over the years, even in his MVP year, where he goes into these long slumps. And, you know, Charlie Manuel gets asked about it just about every day. And Wheels mentioned that he was out there early working on things just like that, hitting the ball the other way, trying to go the other way where the pitch was hit as he ends up with the base hit there. But I thought it was interesting, Sarge, because yesterday Charlie was talking about, you know, this is really still spring training for Ryan Howard. He's kind of working through some things, and when he got back he was pretty good, and now he seems to be in what he called a dead arm period. He kind of compared it to what we hear about pitchers, and I was wondering if you know, indeed, if you ever went through that yourself, because that's how he described it, kind of a dead arm for Ryan Howard.
Yeah, of course, every player really will go through that during the course of the season. But what they were working on basically earlier today was getting back and actually driving the ball, being a lot more aggressive. Charlie had actually gone back and looked at some of his older tapes, and he was a lot more aggressive back then, almost putting a fear in the pitcher. And that's why another reason he was walking so much, because some of those pitches, even the one that he hit there, a little quicker, that ball is going to be driven out of the ballpark, because again there, Murph, he is so strong.
John Mayberry lifts it down the right field line. Upton will give it a chase. And it lands about 1.5 feet from the seats. And it's 1-1. I think what the two of you guys are talking about, you know, and what Charlie even mentioned today is aggressive. Just, you know, swinging free and not swinging tentative.
Yeah, being aggressive, but being aggressive in a smart way. You know, that's what I was talking about for the kids to play every day. I mean, they got to be able to hit. Dominic has to be able to hit left-handers. It's not so much about the hit as it is your approach that allows you to maximize your ability.
That ball's hit hard, a fair ball down the left field line, and it's going to the corner. Howard hustling to third. Kubel pulls it out of the corner, and he'll stop at third. It's a double for Mayberry, and the Phillies have second and third with 2 outs.
And he's starting to feel a lot more comfortable there, and he's free and easy swinging that bat. Always feels good, though, when he's able to pull the ball there. He's safe at second, safe and secure with New York Life. But those are the type of things, though, that will keep him in the lineup. The good approach, you know. And again, the right-handers, he's just going to have to get to where he gets a steady diet of sliders. Maybe having Rich Doobie, the pitching coach, throwing him sliders after sliders until it becomes easy for him to be able to hit that pitch.
But can it become easy?
Well, I mean, I did the same thing that he was doing. It became the easiest pitch for me to hit. As a matter of fact, I didn't really like to hit the ball unless it was having a little bit of movement. Really, both guys, they can hit the fastball. But Dominic gets that first pitch fastball, takes it, it's a strike. That's a ball there for me. You got to be ready to go and swing at that. Those are some of the things that Charlie is talking about in order for these guys to play every day.
Grounder foul, and it's 1-2.
You know, let it go when you're up there, but you got to be able to think. And this is valuable time, definitely, for all these guys. See the way Kratz is doing it, making a little name for himself, but believe me, they remember that when it comes to next year. You want it as easy as you can to be able to make that ball club, and doing a lot of hits right now will do just that.
That'll slice out of play, and it remains 1-2. So at the Major League scoreboard in Atlanta, the Astros have taken a 2-0 lead. Justin Maxwell, a 2-run home run. It was a rough month of July for the Astros. That game is now in the top of the fourth. Two and two the count. A breaking ball.
See if he's going to throw another breaking ball, or see if he throws a fastball out of the zone as he changes what he was getting ready to actually throw.
Foul tip, and Montero can't hang on.
You know, catchers will change their signs from time to time. Starting, they'll touch the mask. That could be a sign, or the shin guards. They'll start numbers and count from there.
2 balls, 2 strikes the count to Dominic Brown.
Best fastball there, so 92. You get to where you feel a pitcher can't throw the ball by you. You just sit back, take a little bit longer look at it.
That foul ball went off the hands of a gentleman near the pavilion level, and his hands are going to be hurt. I mean, it was right there. It was a tough play, and he
said it almost had it.
That had to hurt.
Yeah.
Saunders looks over at third. The 2-2 coming to Brown. Way outside, 3-2.
Now this is a solid at bat. He's fouled off some pitches, some tough pitches, breaking balls, staying in there. Another thing Charlie's looking for these young guys. They're not bailing at the plate, meaning pulling off the ball, hitting it on the end of the bat.
Good at bat. Really good at bat. And now the bases are loaded for a right-handed hitter. It was a 10-pitch at bat that results in a walk.
He's not necessarily having to hit or get a hit. It's his approach there that allowed him to see that the way that it was. Now, Kratz, take a look at that. Boy, that ball, line drive, didn't get out by a whole lot. Chooch is happy about that.
And for that home run and each one hit by the Phils this year, one tree will be planted by the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society as part of Home Runs for Trees, a partnership between the Phillies, PHS, and Aramark. Home Runs for Trees is part of Plant 1 Million, a project to restore the region's tree coverage. Visit Phillies.com/redgoesgreen for more information. Phillies have hit 22 home runs in 20 games since the All-Star break, including the Kratz home run. And he takes low, 1-0.
Well, he's a strong guy. He's got power. He hit that ball out center field, left center. I haven't seen him hit a lot of balls out to right field at all, even in batting practice. Got the luxury to look for whatever he would like. Hopefully a fastball middle in. Just don't want to swing at an off-speed pitch, be out front, and have bad balance.
He takes that off-speed pitch for strike one.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, if he's looking for the fastball, you don't want to swing at that particular pitch.
2 balls, 1 strike to count to Kratz. 3-1.
See if he's brave enough to come back with that changeup again. Hitter in the driver's seat there.
Ball 4, and it forces in a run. Back-to-back walks. It's 2-0 Phillies. Ryan Howard casually crosses the plate. Kratz has both RBIs. Charles Nagy's going out to talk to Joe Saunders.
Well, Kratz showing some patience, and that's what you want to do. Didn't go out of the zone. Didn't try and be greedy and just try and swing just because there were runners in scoring position. That's huge too. The count for a walk.
Be the first with breaking news in Philly sports. Get Philly sports when you're on the go, delivered right to your smartphone. Download the free CSN Sports app today. Nate Scherholtz is now the hitter.
Good speed there, second and third. Hammond should be able to score with a base hit.
1-1 the count.
I still like the way that Scherholtz stays in there on lefties. Well, you're not going to hit every single pitcher, but again, he takes a pretty healthy cut.
Swing and a miss, and he's down on strikes. So the Phils settle for a run on the bases loaded walk to Eric Kratz. We've played 4. Kratz has both RBIs as we go to the 5th. Park. Friday, August 10th is Toyota Wall of Fame night. Mike Lieberthal is going into the Wall of Fame next week.
Yep.
Saturday, the 11th, is Alumni Night. A lot of your former teammates are going to be back here. It's brought to you by Toyota. And then Sunday, the 12th, is a 1:35 start, all against the St. Louis Cardinals. Search out Phillies.com. You can purchase your tickets. Check out everything that's going on this week. It's a long homestand here at the ballpark. Good tickets still available Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday against the Braves.
Kind of looking forward to those the rib contest again. Saw you out there enjoying it last year.
I've been the judge for the last couple of years. I don't always have the ribs though. I have the open categories. You know, where there's different foods that are prepared. I like that.
Do you?
Yeah. Chris Johnson takes a strike. It's 0-1. Gary Maddox, the Gary Maddox Steven Starr event that takes place.
You know, I was telling Gary, as long as he's been cooking ribs, he should have at least won at least once.
Fly ball foul. Well, then they would think it would be rigged, Sarge.
Well, no, I
He'd
mean,
have to go in under a pseudo name, like Gary Matthews or something.
Oh, he has the respect of the people, and they know. I mean, he's lost every year. I mean, and not winning it. But and there are some delicious ribs, but you would think, though, if it's his contest, I mean, even if you did rig it once or twice, you got to have it where you at least win one time. And he takes a lot of pride, believe me, in preparing. And like most of all of the chefs, let's call them chefs.
Swing and a miss and a curveball. Doc just diced up Chris Johnson like he was a chef. 3 strikeouts.
Yeah, he's got that look on his face again. Take a look at it. Here's the movement. That curveball. And when he throws that, he almost like he takes some off of it. And it's almost like the curveball has a string on it where you kind of pull it back a little bit as the ball disappears away from the hitter.
John McDonald flied out to center his first time up. 0 for 1.
I got to tell you, he's on the corner, inside, outside. That's when you know the doctor is actually operating, being able to throw the pitches where he wants. Hasn't been shaking Krantz off a lot, so you know that he's comfortable in throwing to him behind the plate. Always big that way.
With 2 the count to John McDonald. He got another curveball. He just barely got a piece of it.
Oh, that's huge, though, to be able to throw to your catcher, different catcher for him, and still be able to be on the same page. I give Krantz, though, a lot of credit, even though you go over, you know, the game plan, and he looks very comfortable. Should be a fastball away. Well, he wanted it away.
Well, he decided to throw a cutter, and he just barely got it off the end of the bat.
Well, just staying alive on that. Yeah, with it moving so many different ways, and the only thing that Doc doesn't do is move those guys off the plate. You know, he feels almost the same way that Tom Seaver felt, that he's got good enough stuff to be able to get you out without all of that. Tom Seaver used to talk about that. And he did have good stuff. Doc kind of the same way.
1 ball, 2 strikes, the count to McDonald. The pitch from Halladay. Ground ball foul. It's been humid most of the day, as everybody knows, in the Delaware Valley. 84 degrees and cloudy at this point in the evening. Rained a little bit on my way in today. Some dark clouds over in Jersey. They had the tarp ready to go earlier, but storms didn't pop up. That was a good thing. Try to curve, 2-2. He's trying everything against McDonald. This is a long at bat.
Well, you don't want any parts of rain when you have your number one. Don't want him to come out and start pitching and then stop. Usually those guys don't come back after an hour or so.
Curveball swung on and missed. He finally won the battle. Back-to-back curves and back-to-back strikeouts. That's 4 overall, 76 on the season.
Well, you get accustomed to this, and that's making an adjustment. So he's still off balance, though, a little bit, and almost pulling his head off. Doc, boy, when he has that curveball going, and the fastball in and out, it's awful tough to hit.
Saunders is now up. He grounded out his first time up. He's going to ground out his second time up. Nice room service hop for Utley. And although the at-bat to McDonald was long, the one to Saunders was not. Doc retires the D-backs in order for the 3rd time tonight. Middle of the 5th, it's 2-0 Phillies. Not here doing a game. It's up close and personal with your group of 25 or more. Tours include visits to the dugout, the Diamond and Hall of Fame clubs, and much more. It's available year-round. For information or to schedule your group tour, see Ballpark Tours at Phillies.com.
Well, I see a lot of the groups that come in and take that tour on the field, even up here in the box where we do our games. The radio as well.
Yesterday we were doing Charlie's television show, and there was a bunch of folks from WB Mason that were here taking batting practice. And they got a chance to be in the dugout and roam around a little bit.
Wow. Usually when they're taking batting practice, obviously they're trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. See any of those?
I did not. Halladay leads it off here in the 5th. Takes outside. It's 1-0. Sarge, start singing happy birthday to Dallas Green.
To Dallas, one of my favorite people, obviously.
Happy birthday, Dallas. It's always great to see him here at the ballpark.
You know, when he traded for me, when I went over to the Cubs, when I saw him, I just asked him, hey, what took you so long? He just started laughing.
Fly ball shallow right. Upton took a step back. What a way. Well, as we said, it's always good to see Dallas here at the ballpark. It's almost football season, University of Delaware football season. He'll be there at those games too.
Yeah, almost a little surprised though. Dallas usually brings in some of that corn. We haven't seen that.
Hey, how about this? Jimmy Rollins officially is playing in his 1,740th ball game. One more than Larry Boa. So he's third all time in Phillies history. Now, he's still 8 away from passing Boa for the most games played at shortstop.
Move over, Larry.
It's just a matter of time, and I think Larry knows that. Outside, it's 2-0. Rollins grounded out and flied out to center. And he pops it foul. It's 2-1. One to count to Rollins.
They're doing a better job, you know, in looking at the pitches, just not swinging wildly at pitches like that one there that isn't a strike. That is the key to hitting. Try and get as many strikes as you can. Sounds easy, but difficult.
Yeah, first inning, they went down on 8 pitches. You know, whether it be Rollins, Franzen, or Chase. But since that time, they've been forcing Saunders to work a little bit more.
Yeah, I thought Franzen coming up in that situation would have maybe taken a pitch, but he's an aggressive hitter.
3-2 the count to Rollins. Liner foul. Oof.
Almost too quick on that fastball that came inside to him.
Got a changeup, and he pops it to the right side.
Well, he wanted to throw that fastball. Montero, the catcher, was telling him, oh no, we're going to throw that changeup, and that's exactly what he threw. What you call there, where the catcher taking charge on exactly what pitch he wanted him to throw.
Well, this 5th inning is now left to Kevin Franzen. He's 0 for 2. 1 for 5 in the series. To center field, that's pretty well hit, but Parra gets out there. And it just died out in center for the final out. 1, 2, 3 go the Phils. A quiet inning for Joe Saunders. We've played 5 here in Philadelphia. Ashburn Alley is bustling tonight. The Phils up 2-0. Week has battled through a frustrating season. With rumors swirling at the trade deadline, Cliff Lee remained a Philly, and he took the mound in Washington ready to perform. He dominated the Nationals lineup for 7 shutout innings, allowing just 5 hits for his second win of the season. Cliff delivered from the mound. He delivered at the plate. He notched his second stolen base of his career. And it's all brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Changing the game. On to the top of the 6th inning. Sarge, we have a bachelorette party going on here at the ballpark.
Awesome.
That young lady with the veil says that her trade deadline is September 29th. Now that's funny.
It's funny. Very creative. I like that.
Well, congratulations if everything works out. Gerardo Parra will lead it off here in the 6th. He's 0 for 2. Parra's flied out to left, popped out to third. Doc's allowed 2 hits so far through 5. That one is way up there, Utley under it. Good job by Parra. He was halfway to second when Utley caught that ball.
Yeah, want to hustle every time you hit that ball. And good pitch by Doc, however, getting in on the hands. You know, before he was having trouble leaving that ball out over the plate. If he does that with that particular pitch, that would be a home run.
Stephen Drew is 1 for 2. He has one of the 2 hits that came back in the 4th. Both hits are singles. Change up for strike 1. Oh, it was a cutter.
Yep. 89.
That was a cutter, yeah. It looked like it dropped instead of cutting toward Drew.
Yeah. I don't know if he throws a lot of change-ups first pitch.
To left field, Dominic Brown got turned around out toward the track, and it's off the top of the wall. That ball really carried. And Drew will pull into second base with a 1-out double.
Got good wood on that ball as that ball goes toward the fence. Let's see here whether or not you think he should have actually caught the ball. It turned him around for one reason there, and as he gets up, you know, if he's able to get back, would have been a great catch, but you can't fault a guy when that ball goes off the wall like that. Just a little bit difficult there in the route. That's another thing there, that in order for him to play on a daily basis, he's going to have to run better routes to the ball. And that is something, though, he can correct. He can learn that.
Well, and he's tall enough and athletic enough that if he got back to that spot, he would have been able to reach up and catch it.
He would have had a much better chance in getting the glove on the ball.
But that ball jumped.
Oh. You know, when you're playing left field, those are some of the things, though, that you'll actually learn. A little different, obviously, when you're here on this level.
Well, that was a very tough play, and it turned out to be a double for Drew.
I got to tell you, that was a nice changeup, and that was first pitch to a fastball hitter.
Kubal's 0 for 2. He struck out. He's grounded out. Phillies up 2-0 here in the 6th.
Good spot. You know, doing a good job and keeping the ball down. But then when he wants to, he can come up and in on them, and that's what he's been doing to some of the hitters. Changing the eye level, which makes it difficult again to hit. Up and down, in and out.
One ball, 2 strikes the count. And the pitch. off the glove of Kratz, back to the wall. Drew goes to third. I would think that'll be a pass ball.
Well, usually, if the ball doesn't hit the dirt, they'll usually call that a pass ball there. Just didn't get that glove down to get it over quick enough.
Phillies will play the infield back with the count 2-2 to Kubel. Up by 2 with a runner at third.
And I like this too. When you have the lead, to be able to play that infield back, just trying to prevent a big inning. That's the reason why they're not playing the infield in. Looking for outs right now when you have that lead.
Swing and a miss. He got Kubel for the second time tonight. Strikeout number 5. Well, he's got some put away pitches tonight.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Setting him up again. He's seen him swing at this pitch there, that low strike, and he did it again. Yeah, that's when he's at his best, when he's able to repeat location. That's when you know Doc is on his game. He seems to be on his game here so far tonight.
Goldschmidt gets a curve, rolls it to short. Rollins backhands, has time, inning over. He works around the 1-out double, and the pass ball with Drew over at third, and gets Kubel on strikes and Goldschmidt on a ground out. Middle of the 6th. Doc has allowed only 3 hits tonight. If it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. By Citizens Bank, we're for homes. Talk to us today about how we can help guide you to the loan that's right for you. And by Nissan's Summer Saving Days. Get to Nissan for the biggest savings under the sun. Visit ChooseNissan.com or your local Nissan dealer. Bottom of the 6th, Chase Utley will lead it off. Utley, Howard, and Mayberry. Phillies lead it 2-0. Be nice to get some more for Doc as we hit the bottom of the 6th inning.
Now you want to add on, you know, obviously when you have your horse out there, you have your number 1, and you get these kind of leads, you expect to be able to win the game, period. Still kind of come accustomed to that here.
Well, we've talked about a lot of the numbers this year. I think there are a number of numbers that you look at, you just shake your head and say, oh boy. Well, how about the Phillies are 12-20 in starts by Cliff Lee and Ron Halladay this year.
You know, it just hasn't been one of those years besides him, you know, getting hurt.
Utley lines it to right field. He was right on that pitch. And he's aboard to lead off the 6th. By comparison, Sarge, and I think folks probably know the number, but by comparison, Last year, the Phillies were 46-18 in starts by Cliff Lee and Roy Halladay.
Wow.
That's why when people think about waivers and whether the Phillies would trade Lee, it's really hard to do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that would be almost an everyday player like an Upton to go on and trade him because he's not having, that kind of a year. And that's when you usually get guys. But for people to think all of a sudden that, oh, this guy can't pitch or he's done, just don't really know a whole lot about the game. And a lot of times, too, you can tell by a pitcher, his heart and whether or not he's going out there. As long as Doc is healthy and his velocity and his arm is there. And the same I feel that with Cliff Lee, those guys are going to be fine. The guys that are talking about that are guys, quite frankly, that haven't had to face guys who don't understand, every now and then when a pitcher throws that ball down the middle of the plate, it's going to be hit hard. And then they're human like everyone else. They get off to a bad start. It starts to get into their head. As long as their arm is fine, I got to take chances on both those guys for me.
Oh, 2 the count to Howard, who's 1 for 2 with a run scored. Somers steps off. Utley creeps back to first. Swing and a miss. Kind of had him off balance. Second time tonight that Ryan struck out.
Yeah. No, again, we talked about it. It's going to take him some time to be able to get back. May not even do that until maybe the end or the last month. You would hope that he would show signs of that power, though, this year sometime, and not necessarily how many he hits on his approach and whether or not he's making good contact.
Mayberry's 1 for 2. He doubled his last time up.
Thompson showing good signs and making solid contact with the fastball. Feels a lot comfortable, a lot more, I should say, with left-handed pitching.
That took a bad hop.
They'll probably tell you that she should have made the play on that. They take a lot of pride. Let me tell you, ball girls down there, they do a good job.
Tonight's ball girls are Michelle, who we just saw, and Maureen, who's down the right field line. What had won the count to Mayberry. And Utley again back to first. There's Maureen.
Mm-hmm. Sam Palazzo, you can see him with the watch in his hand. He's actually giving that time there to Utley. Giving the time, going to home plate. Usually if a pitcher's about maybe, say about 1-4, they'll be able to get a good jump. 1-1, 1-2 with a catcher with a good arm. You better get a good jump. More than likely, you're not going to make it. There's that watch.
You didn't discuss the stopwatch last night when you said it was an easy job.
Well, he was trying to convince me that it really wasn't, and all the things that he told me that he was doing. I mean, he has tape just about on all of the pitchers, and you know, he'll go over and let them know before the game. He says Juan Pierre is the guy that really is in tune with it as far as him giving them times and what that pitcher is to home plate.
Another throw over, Utley again back.
You know, and not only that, though, he studies them to know exactly different movements that they are making. You mentioned Strasburg there and Washington, that he felt he had their number where guys could be able to get good jumps.
Off the end of the bat, a foul ball over the first base dugout.
So I asked him whether or not that he gave it to Cliff Lee when he stole the base. And he said, no, he just ran. He just took off.
Did he want to grab him and bring him back?
Oh, he just was just looking at him saying, oh, really? And he actually stole that with ease. Greg Maddux used to do the same thing. On purpose, I would tell him. The pitcher was 1-1, and he'd take off anyway.
Did he ever call you on the misinformation that you were giving him?
No, he just never said too much at all, Greg. But the one thing he always liked is when he threw that ball inside and it hit off a hitter's foot, he would actually try and throw that same pitch back in there again. But he was a pitcher, obviously, with all the gold gloves that studied the game and really knew that base running was a big part of it.
Kind of quick pitch Mayberry or Utley there more than anything else.
Yeah, more for Utley, I would think. There it is again as he's quick pitching, line drive in the stand. Now you talk to the base stealers, they always say, and these Maury Wills would talk about that, and Davey Lopes, that they felt that against the left-hander, it was easier to steal the base because you could see exactly what he was doing.
Foul ball off Montero, so Mayberry stays alive. Henry Blanco is their backup catcher. He'll probably catch tomorrow. And the Phils and the Diamondbacks wrap up this series, 1:35. Tickets are still available if you want to come on out. Cliff Lee is on the mound for the Phillies. 1-2 the count. Phillies up 2-0 here in the bottom of the sixth. Six pickoff throws.
Yeah. Now that comes from the dugout. Pitcher will look over there and see what that manager or the bench coach wants them to do. Well, one thing for sure, it appears though that Utley does have his attention. And as a hitter, that's what you like, the pitcher to be concentrating on that base runner, hopefully make a mistake to you.
Two balls, two strikes, the count to Mayberry. And he hits it foul. Alan Trammell's the bench coach. He's given the signs to keep the runner close at first. To right field. And Upton makes the catch. Ball nearly sailed on him.
Good at bat.
Does turn out to be a pretty good at bat. It's an out though for Mayberry. Utley's back to first. Sarge, it's now time for the Coors Light Freeze Can. Dog days of August, pretty warm out there today. How do you keep cool? Well, there are many different ways you can do it. some folks decided to bring a fan to the game. And if you don't have a fan, you can make one. There's truly is a fan. Coors Light Freeze Camp brought to you by Frostproof Coors Light. What are those little fans you used to have all the time? You know those little battery operated ones?
Yeah, they make too much noise right now. If I had them out here, it buzzes too loud.
Really?
Yeah. Get a little warmer, I'll bring them out for you.
Dominic, well, no, I'm just worried about you. I'm okay.
Well, yeah, Wills, he never really gets too warm. I gotta tell you though, at times it feels great. Even though it might be warm here in the dugout, still okay.
Brown lifts it to left center. It's going to slice back toward Kubel. All right, Sarge. Kubel's going to make that catch. That's going to wrap up the bottom of the 6th. So you can get back into the air conditioning in the office. And we'll catch you tomorrow, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, we go to the 7th. Phillies up 2-0 over the Arizona Diamondbacks. Doc is ready to go back to work.
A good ball game here tonight. Well pitched on both sides, especially by Roy Halladay. Eric Kratz with a solo home run, his 4th of the year, and he has a bases-loaded walk. Both runs batted in for the Phillies. Stephen Drew had a one-out double, and he got the third in the pass ball, and Roy Halladay with a strikeout, an out after that. So has a shutout going as we go here into the 7th inning.
Well, Justin Upton will lead it off for the Diamondbacks, and he's had a good curveball today. He's really had good everything tonight.
I think the pitch that defines the way he's back right now is that 2-2 cutter he threw to Kubel. That thing had some serious bite to it when he needed a strikeout. It didn't roll the way they were when he wasn't pitching well.
0-1 the count to Upton. There's the cutter again. It's 0-2. Now, the cutter, as you see Saunders trying to cool himself off. It's almost as if he stuck his head and was bobbing for apples or something.
Yeah, it's not like this in Arizona.
Well, the cutter for Doc is, the pitch that you said defines whether he's successful or not in a lot of ways. And they've really been working hard to try to figure out mechanically how he can get the movement on the cutter that he needs.
Well, I think one of the reasons is what we talked about on Sunday in Atlanta, and what you saw here tonight early. He has extension again.
He's ahead 1-2 to Upton. A single and a walk tonight. Curveball, center field. John Mayberry's out there. He's got room. Rich Doobie, Phillies pitching coach, and Doc looked at some video, and they were talking about the mechanics, Doc's mechanics, whether it be, the mechanics of when he goes into the windup or works from the stretch, and how that's dictated a lot of the success or even the struggles with the cutter recently. And they thought they found something before the last start against Atlanta, and then even more so afterward. And it seems like those bullpen sessions have really started to pay off.
And how do you count how much it paid off, unfortunately, for the Phillies, but that he didn't pitch for 2 months? He needed that. It's obvious.
Oh, it 1 to Montero. Cutter inside, 1-1.
You know, he pitched with so much pain. He's throwing some sinkers early in the game, too. He's gone back more to a cutter, changeup, curveball mix in the last few innings. But, you know, I think he had more confidence in his sinker tonight than he has had in a while, too. He was throwing it more early. I mean, you see his breakdown on pitches. And pitch count really is very good, except for that at bat with McDonald.
Curveball fouled at the plate, remains 1-2.
How many was that?
It was 8 to John McDonald.
Something like that. Yeah, I mean, McDonald gave him a heck of a bow, and then he finally got him on a hook.
And then he got Saunders on 1 pitch.
1 pitch, right.
Turned out to be 9 pitches to John McDonald, but then 1 to Saunders.
And he's at 91 right now with that at bat that he had with all those foul balls.
Curveball. That one shot to right center field. Playable for Schierholtz.
That may get him to go to the bullpen phone too. When you see a couple balls hit like that, all of a sudden that can be a sign that, all right, you know, he may be starting to run out of gas a little bit.
Well, these lucky fans not only got a chance to see Doc, but they're also our Citizens 7. They're reaching Super Prize Pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. Find a branch near you. Visit citizensbank.com.
The pitching coaches really watch for those sort of things, you know, and they monitor the guys when they go along. And all of a sudden, the balls are starting to be driven that weren't before. Then they'll think, all right, you know, we're getting near the end.
Well, it's also just a 2-0 game, too. If he had, let's say, a 5-0 lead, they might be more apt to give him a little more string. Over to third, Franzen. Nice hop for him, left side. Although he gave up the 2 long fly ball outs, he still was able to get Chris Johnson to tap out to third. It's a 1-2-3 7th inning. It's time to stretch, folks. Step to your feet, see if you can cool yourself off. That's what Joe Saunders is doing. A blast from the past. Sorry, looking for more of those. Quiz answer. All right, Wheels, here you go. Name the only D-backs player to be named to the 2012 All-Star Game.
Trying to flash back to that.
Flashback.
And I think it was Gerardo Parra.
Oh, that's a good guess. It is incorrect, though.
Oh, yeah? All right, who was it?
It was Wade Miley. Eric Kratz hits a towering fly ball. I mean, this is a big man's fly ball into the seats.
Big man hit it. We talked about Miley the other night, how he came on after he started against the Phillies, but I didn't remember him being on the All-Star team.
Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're a winner of a Phillies prize pack. Thanks for playing Dodge Stump the Fan. So, Wheels, you do not get a Phillies prize pack tonight.
Talk on it.
But you will get the Dodge Stump the Fans home edition.
Yeah, that's good. Bzzz. Complete with a buzzer.
To right field, Justin Upton.
Phillies have bullpen activity. You get the feeling they're going to hit for Roy Halladay. We're going to find out right now. And they are.
Well, speaking of the D-backs All-Stars, back in the day, as they say, Diamondbacks coaching staff, well, they spent some time in an All-Star game or two. Don Beller, 1979 American League MVP and All-Star. Charles Nagy, I'm surprised by the three. I knew he was good, but three-time All-Star. Alan Trammell and Lou Whitaker were the best double-play combination in the American League, I think, during their time together. They were really good.
Well, Nagy for a long time was a big guy on that really good Cleveland pitching staff.
1-0 the count to Scherholz. And 2-0.
And they're going to hit Wigginton for Halladay, and that's a Ziegler out there, that Under Armour.
Back toward the middle. That's going to sneak in the center of base hit. So Scherholz has a hit tonight against the lefty. Reminder, the month of August presents Phillies fans with an awful lot of opportunities to come to Citizens Bank Park. It includes tomorrow's game against the Arizona Diamondbacks, this week's game against the Atlanta Braves, this week's set of games against the Braves. Order your tickets at Phillies.com. Check out the promotion schedule, which includes a Hatfield Dollar Dog Night. You can always see the Fanatic. So Halladay goes 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. He was fantastic.
Yeah, he was really good tonight, and you could just see the difference in him. And you know, 7 innings for those balls that were hit hard in the air last inning. I think that probably made up Rich Doobie and Charlie Manuel's mind that when his spot came up, they were going to hit for him. They'd gotten plenty out of him tonight.
Now it's up to the bullpen to get 6 outs. Wigginton on the year, 229 hitter. 1 ball, no strikes. Pitches now for Saunders. He's due to bat second in the 8th.
No matchups really that jump out at you right now that they'd make a change, other than the fact they probably want to get him through this inning if they can and not have to make a switch here with him coming up to hit second.
Back toward the middle, another base hit. Scherholz will stop at second. Really threw behind him. Parra's got a very good arm. And the Phillies have first and second with 1 man down. Phillies had the 5th highest batting average in baseball from the 7th inning on. I should say the National League from the 7th inning on. And they have 2 hits here tonight.
Here comes Kirk Gibson, so they're going to turn Jimmy Rollins around.
And Gibson signals to the pen. Saunders shakes his head. So he'll leave after throwing 103 pitches. And Rollins will bat left-handed against the sidewinder, Brad Ziegler. So our first pitching change, official pitching change of the night, will feature right-hander Brad Ziegler, and will come on to face Jimmy Rollins. Phillies have 2 on and 1 out here at the bottom of the 7th inning. So we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll tell you about Ziegler, get you set for the Jimmy Rollins at bat here at the ballpark. AT&T call to the bullpen here at Citizens Bank Park. The Diamondbacks will lift their starting pitcher, Joe Saunders. His evening is done after 6 1/3 and 6 hits. The 2 runners on are his responsibility. There's his line right now. Obviously, the 2 runs and the 2 earned runs could change depending on what happens here. Brad Ziegler is the new pitcher for the D-backs. 48th game. He's had a good year, 4-1 with a 2.38 earned run average. Former Philly property when he was in the minor leagues. Delivers outside. It's 1-0.
Good time in the major leagues with Oakland. That brought him on the radar. Well, the guy could pitch up here. You wouldn't think he'd be that effective against left-handed batters, but very effective against right-handed hitters. What he was trying to do is just run a little sinker down and away from Jimmy Rollins. Hope he'll turn it over and they get out of the inning with 2.
Ziegler's now 32 years old. If you're wondering, well, when did he play for the Phillies organization? He was originally part of the Phillies. There's a strike. In 2003, and pitched in Batavia for 3 games, and that was it. He was signed by the Phils after they selected him in the 31st round in the 03 draft. Over to second, he might have 2. There's 1. There's 2.
Did just what he wanted, just ran that sinker away.
4-6-3 double play. The Phillies are retired here in the 7th. We've completed 7. Saunders' line is complete. We move to the 8th inning, and the Phils bullpen will take over. Get 30+ MPG. Go further. Visit your Quality Plus Ford store today. By WB Mason, you can't go wrong when you buy right. By Xfinity, the official HD triple play provider of your Phillies. And by Honda. Visit your Honda dealer right now for great deals. Only a Honda is a Honda. Josh Lindblom is the new pitcher for the Phillies. He'll take over for Doc, who went 7 innings, allowed 3 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. And Lindblom looks like he'll face Ryan Wheeler second. Wheeler's going to be the pinch hitter for the Arizona Diamondbacks. I was wondering if they might pinch hit for John McDonald. They did not. See Lindblom's numbers, 2-2 with a 3.12 earned run average.
They only have one left-handed bat off the bench, and that is Ryan Wheeler.
McDonald's 0 for 2. Flied out to center, struck out swinging. First pitch outside, 1-0. On the outside corner, 1-1.
They have Jeremy Horst up in the bullpen. He's heating up in a hurry.
Swing and a miss, maybe for Wheeler.
Well, you go left with him, and then Parra, who's left. Of course, they could hit Young for Parra, but
you have Drew, who's left too.
Yeah. So you just wonder if they're thinking about getting Horst into this game, or they're just getting him ready in a hurry in case there's trouble. And one of those guys represents a tying run.
There's Jeremy Horst.
He jumped up and started pumping fast. It wasn't one of those, well, let's just see, we're going to get ready. Maybe I'll use him against this hitter later on.
Breaking ball and a called strike 3. A strikeout for Lindblom. Ryan Wheeler is going to pinch hit.
Good breaking ball right here. He has a good fastball, and that's there too. Nice pitch.
So with 1 away, Ryan Wheeler will hit. Let's check in with Murph. Murph?
Hey, T-Mac. Well, a lot of these players obviously have their own superstitions. Josh Lindblom is no different. Take a look at his good luck charm in his locker each and every night. It's a toy buck that he got from his buddy. His buddy owns a company called Hunter Dan. They actually make action figures for the hunting enthusiasts, which Josh is. So he has the toy buck. They have Hunter Dan, they have Hunter Ann, and also some antelope and some bucks and anything you want if you're a hunting enthusiast. So his buddy told him he wanted the Hunter Dan to go Hollywood when he was out in L.A. So he keeps it as his good luck charm.
Well, it's made its way to Philadelphia.
Yes, it has.
Coast to coast for Hunter Dan.
0-2 the count to Wheeler. Think they have any Chris Wheeler action figures, Murph? His birthday's coming up.
I would imagine they do, and we will scour the earth to find them.
Easy, Murph. we got enough clowns around here.
Oh, he is a clown, Wheels. Come on, he's fitting in. 0-2 the count to Ryan Wheeler.
That's true.
Murph is all in. Breaking ball, grounded foul out toward Murph. And it remains 0-2. Off his foot. And it remains no balls and 2 strikes. The thought when the Phillies acquired Lindblom from the Dodgers for Victorino was that he could pitch in this kind of a spot in the 8th inning. Phillies felt like there was a void there, aside from Bastardo, who can throw against lefties. Kratz sets up outside. Pitches way outside. It's 1-2.
Well, he has that potential. We talk about it all the time. Strikeouts in the 8th and 9th inning, how important they are out of your bullpen. And he has that potential for that, and he has a strikeout in this inning.
got him to go after that one. 2-2. Please. She's begging for something. She wants ice cream or something.
Keep getting those, too. No matter what that child said, the answer was no. And it's no again. Whoop, no. How many times do I have to say no?
I've been there, done that. It's a foul ball back over the third base side. It remains 2-2.
Pretty good battle. They're going in and out on him with breaking ball and fastballs. Be time to go back away now after coming inside like that. So, let's see.
Got him with a breaking pitch. That was a curveball. Waved out and missed. Back-to-back strikeouts. So slider with the first out, curveball with the second out.
Which is more what you would think from a right-handed pitcher. If they're going to use both breaking balls, use the hard one to the right-handed hitters. You use the slower one to the left-handed hitter.
Two gone here in the 8th, and here's Gerardo Parra, who's 0 for 3. Parra's been in the air all 3 times tonight. Started him off with a slider, and it's 1-0.
Well, these guys really. Well, he bunts for hit. I was thinking that one of them, he had to bunt for 22 times he's tried it. He has 1 bunt hit. So he gives it a shot, but he's not real successful.
Now, if Parra were to get on, you think they'd bring Horston to face Drew?
They may, unless they're afraid of who would hit for him. Whether they don't like that matchup.
High, ball 4, so Parra walks on 4 pitches. A 2-out walk, and Drew is coming up. Every time the Phillies retire the opposing team 1-2-3, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports, giving you all your favorite sports all year long.
See, they're in there thinking right now, all right, now if we bring Horston, would they hit for Drew #1, and who would it be? So which matchup do we want?
Yeah, I wondered if they would even hit for Drew, but it's true they could because they have Bloomquist available if they need to move around the infielders.
You're right, and that's what a manager has to think about all the time. If I make this move, are they going to counter with something that I like less than what I have right now? So,
right.
So in this case, they're going to go with this matchup.
And Aaron Hill too is available.
Who has power.
Parra has stolen 12 bases. Out in San Diego, the Mets have taken a 4-0 lead. Jordani Valdespin has 2 RBIs and a double. That game's in the bottom of the 2nd. Houston Street 4-out save last night for the Padres in their victory. Runner goes. Breaking ball taken inside and low. The throw to second in time on 1 hop. What a play by Jimmy Rollins to grab that ball off the ground and apply the tag. Parra didn't think so. And Eric Kratz has thrown out another base runner. He barely came to his feet. And he fired a 1-hop strike right into the base pad. Well, he didn't even come to his feet. He's off his knees. And Rollins takes it, applies the tag. And the inning is over. Pretty nice work with the glove for Jimmy Rollins to wrap up the inning. Depot defensive play of the game. We just saw it. Eric Kratz behind the plates.
Yeah, it does his Benito Santiago from his knees. Jimmy Rollins puts his knee down, too, on the bag. He doesn't give him a whole lot for play. No, he didn't really get his knee near the bag. I thought it was closer. He just reaches out, makes a really quick tag. He got a nice hop, put the tag down in a hurry. What a play.
That's our Home Depot defensive play of the game. Good Moore on defense. Mike Zagorski, the former Philly, is on to pitch for the Diamondbacks.
You got a pitching staff with 2 Z's in it. Ziegler and Zagorski.
Z-Pack,
yeah,
as Charlie calls him.
He's done a good job for them.
I guess he's found the strike zone a little bit more with the Diamondbacks. He had good numbers for the Phillies in the farm system, but every time he came up to the big leagues, he just was struggling with the strike zone.
Just couldn't get people out, and a lot of people were rooting for him because he's easy to root for.
Hey, he's one of the best guys you'll ever come across. Papelbon's up in the pen. It'll be Franzen, Utley, and Howard. Up high, 1-2.
Fastball is at the same velocity that he had with the Phillies. Maybe they have taken a little something off it, and it's helped his command a little.
Matt Albers is throwing for the Diamondbacks. Albers is throwing probably for Mayberry, I guess.
Yeah, they just got him. He has not pitched for them yet. They just activated him on Friday. They got him for the Red Sox.
Back toward the middle, a base hit for Franzen. Second hit of the series for Kevin. Tonight on Sports Night, highlights, analysis, and reaction from this ball game, plus reports from Eagles training camp in Lehigh. Get all the news Philly fans need to know on Sports Night. Update on what's going on in the Olympics. It's all presented by Toyota tonight after Phillies postgame live only on Comcast Sportsnet. We'll also talk about Carlos going on the disabled list. Here's Chase. Has a hit tonight in 3 official at-bats. Hit the ball hard in the 4th, too. Ooh. Went over the bill of the helmet, off the glove of Montero, and Franzen's up to second. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will be a wild pitch.
Yeah, that's a wild pitch. Whoa. That night that ball hit Utley in the head and he didn't realize it. That almost happened again.
It's like what Brett Myers got hit with that line drive in Chicago that day, and he didn't even flinch.
Well, and he had a soft cap.
And he didn't even flinch.
Well, I don't know. You knew him. Were you surprised?
Soft cap, hard head.
Okay. Usually it's a mandatory breaking ball after a pitch like that.
No,
nope.
Fastball.
Fastball, yep. See something, trying to get into pull mode right now and get him over to third, get Franzen over to third base, see if they can pick up a 3rd run here. Zagorski throwing hard away, trying to make it harder to do that. Maybe that's why they didn't throw a breaking ball after that pitch that came up and into it, because they didn't want to speed his bat up and help him pull the ball. They're throwing hard fastballs away. He's back up in that velocity he was with the Phillies now, 93, 94.
There's the breaking pitch, swung on and missed, and 1 out. That'll bring Howard to the plate. Howard comes up with 1 away. He's got a single tonight and a run scored.
Reminding Mike Zagorski now about Franson at second base. Drew's going to be the cover guy with Howard, of course, pole hitter. So they have the shortstop in. Now have to leave the third baseman over a lot further than they normally would with Ryan Howard because of the guy at second. Said Albers probably up for Mayberry. So 1 more hitter for Zagorski. Unless they wanted to walk Mayberry and go after Brown.
Line drive, base hit it to right field. Franzen's being held at third. Upton's throw cut off by Goldschmidt. It's a single for Howard. I think Franzen froze just a little bit because of the way that ball was hit.
He did. He couldn't tell how long it was in the air. It was hit so hard. Upton's really deep too. But yeah, see, that thing's in the air for a while. And from his angle right there, he's look, now he goes. And now Wansamwell can't score him because 2 outs, he's off in the crack of the bat. He has a chance to score him. 1 out, he froze because that thing stayed in the air into the dirt in the infield.
Well, they're trying to decide now how they're going to line the defense with Mayberry up. Here comes Kirk Gibson, and he's going to go to the bullpen. They were discussing a handful of different things, and finally Gibson decides he's going to go to Matt Albers, who will make his Diamondbacks debut. So Zagorski gets an out but allows a couple hits, and the Phillies now have first and third with 1 man down. A pitching change here at the ballpark with John Mayberry due up for the Phils. Great way to follow your favorite Phils players and also donate to a great cause. Your donation will go to 1 of 4 Phillies charities beneficiaries that you choose. Select a Phillies player and pledge donation amounts on their stats, such as home runs, RBIs, or wins. For more information or to participate, visit Phillies.com/pledge. The Phillies hunting for another run here. Up 2-0. They have first and third. They brought in Matt Albers, the Diamondbacks did. Those are his numbers with the Red Sox. Not a lot went right for the Red Sox this year, but Albers' numbers statistically were very good.
They'll play their infield double play depth. for John Mayberry. Trying to get a double play, get out of the inning. Albers can strike you out too, and that's what they really want here. And you see the defense.
Swing and a miss at a breaking ball.
They set it up so if the ball's hit the third and the Phillies go on contact, it's not a double play ball, they can come home. And normally you would break from third base if the ball's hit to the third base because you want them to come home so they don't go for two to end the inning.
Breaking pitch. Those are fastballs with some pretty good cut at the end, away from the right-handed hitter. Tapper foul. It's 1-2.
He's looking for a fly ball now if he can get it. John pulling off a little bit now on this right-hander.
Called strike three. 96 on the outside corner. Well, there are 2 outs.
They may have made a perfect pitch here. Ran it back. That's a strike. At least it is where he catches it, and the umpire has to determine where across the front of the plate.
Well, now with 2 outs, it's Dominic Brown. Well, they rolled the dice. They went with their only lefty to start the inning, in Zagurski. And now they've got to ride Albers.
And they've gotten it to the point now where a fly ball doesn't give you a run.
Sure.
So, you know, if they had another left-hander, they may use him, but you know they're better shape now for that strikeout.
Off the end of the bat, base hit to left field. A little flare by Dominic Brown brings home friends, and the Phils abandon a run. It's 3-0 here at the bottom of the 8th.
That first RBI for Dominic since he's come back up. Big run. Get Kirk Gibson right there. You know, oh man, you know my guy makes a pitch. What are you going to do? But he makes contact. You know, one thing you can't help but notice about him since he's been up, he doesn't swing and miss. Rarely does he swing and miss. You know, he had that unbelievable battle with Saunders earlier, throwing him all those 3-2 hooks, fouling balls off, taking pitches, and finally walked, and then Kratz walked after him to force in a run. But if you don't swing and miss a lot, you make contact, you got a chance to do something.
One ball, no strikes, the count to Kratz, who is 1 for 2 with 2 runs batted in. He's homered. Did a nice job tonight behind the plate.
That's a really good run they just picked up.
Chopper back toward the middle, and it's picked up by Stephen Drew. And Brown is retired at second. Fielder's choice, 6-4 on the putout. Dominic Brown gives the Phils a little insurance. An opposite field single. Now we go to the 9th. Papelbon's in to face Stephen Drew. if you've been waiting for Ben Davis, he'll be around after the ball game on Phillies Postgame Live. It's presented by Cure Auto Insurance, who offers insights on Doc's outing tonight. First time tonight that Doc has gone an outing without allowing runs since opening day. How about that? Phillies Postgame Live. It's presented by Cure Auto Insurance.
Well, Roy Halladay's so honest about his outings. It'll be interesting to hear what he says tonight about the way he pitched. But it really looked like he had some bite on his cutter tonight. He had good changeup, curveball, used his sinker effectively, and he looked like he really threw loose and free tonight, free and loose.
So Jonathan Papelbon will come on to try to pick up his 24th save. Papelbon's numbers 2 and 4, 3.14 earned run average. He'll face Stephen Drew, who was up when Parra was thrown out, Jason Kubel, and Paul Goldschmidt. So technically the hardest part of the Diamondbacks lineup is up against Papelbon. Drew's had a good night. He's 2 for 3. So Doc goes 7. Josh Lindblom goes the 8th. And now it's Papelbon here in the 9th. First pitch low. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Phillies bullpen as difficult as the time as they've had this year, just trying to find guys to fill certain parts. Their last 14 ball games, their earned run average is 1.29. That doesn't include the scoreless tonight. And the opposition's hitting just 165 against the bullpen during that stretch, which is the best opponent's batting average in the National League.
Well, they had the game right where they wanted, with a 3-run lead and their closer.
1-1 the count to Drew. 1-2 the count. One-two pitch to Drew. Fouled it back. It remains 1-2. Stephen Drew's name was swirling around before the trade deadline. It was kind of surprising that they were thinking about trading him to the Oakland A's. At least that seemed to be the team that was in on his work. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. And a call, strike 3. Fastball toward the outer half, 1 away here in the 9th. Stephen Drew did not think that. Close. I mean,
2 strikes, it's really close. And you know, that pitch is probably off the plate, but with 2 strikes, you know, they always say, hey, too close to take. May have applied there.
Now Kubel, who is 0 for 3 tonight. Kubel's 29 years old.
Well, these next 2 guys are bombers, so it's nice to have him come up with nobody on base, Kubel, and keep him off base for Goldschmidt.
Ground ball toward first. Ryan Howard scoops it up, 2 outs. Well, it's exactly how they drew it up in March. The way this game has moved along. Now with 2 outs in the 9th. The other part of the script is the fans coming to their feet to try to help Papelbon through this inning to pick up the save.
Phillies hadn't had a shutout May 26th until they did it with the Nationals the other night on July 31st.
2 in 1 week.
How about that? That'd be nice.
Goldschmidt is hitless at 3 at bats. 0-1 the count.
A lot of fastballs from Jonathan Papelbon. With a 3-run lead, he just come in and pump fastballs.
Oh, 2 the count. Well, here they come, and it's nice to hear. No balls, 2 strikes, the count to Goldschmidt, and Papelbon's ready to pitch. Ground ball left side. Franzen can't get to it. Rollins has it, flips over to first, not in time. It's a 2-out single, infield single for Goldschmidt. And that'll bring Justin Upton to the plate.
Perfect spot.
Upton is 1 for 2. Howard's going to play behind Goldschmidt.
And that extra run was so important. It takes 2 base runners to get that tying run up there.
Upton takes inside, 1-0. They went with like a slider. That's the view from Juan Pierre right there. Out in Cincinnati, the Pirates and the Reds are tied at 4. That's a huge series. That game's in the 8th inning. Reds won last night. Reds are 18-3 since the All-Star break. 2-0 the count. 2-1. 93. Upton was taking a strike.
Yeah, he's taking a strike because he knows his run's kind of meaningless. So he wants to get on base. If he hits a home run, you know, it's still just 3-2. I'm trying to get Montero up there. Another guy can hit home runs. They have some power in this lineup.
Swing and a miss. 2-2. Threw him a split.
Now they're moving Mayberry over a little bit. Now the count's even. John was playing towards left center. Now he's moved towards right center.
Two balls, 2 strikes, the count to Upton. With a runner at first. Papelbon is ready. And he delivers. And a called strike 3 right on the outside corner. He gets Upton looking, and the Phillies have taken game 2 over the Diamondbacks. And for Roy Halladay, it's his first win since the 17th of May. And man, was he on top of his game tonight. Jonathan Papelbon notched the save. He allowed a hit, struck out 2 here in the 9th inning. And the Phillies got contributions from a handful of guys, including Eric Kratz, who picked up a couple RBIs. Dominic Brown's base hit in the 9th inning made life a little easier for Jonathan Papelbon. It meant that Justin